Hi, so Danny from the Nurture Nook. Apologies for our internet connection earlier. I couldn't see anything at all, so I thought I'd put this video together for you. So when I joined before, we spoke about newborns and newborn massage. And today I thought I'd speak to you a little bit about tummy time. Tummy time is really fundamental for our babies, and often it's misunderstood as just a position that you have to put baby in to stop baby developing what's commonly known as flat-headed syndrome, but it's so much more. And I think if you understand the benefits of tummy time and optimizing tummy time, it can really become a fundamental part of your baby's play. So tummy time, the benefits, where do I start? So skeletal, there are 3 stages of your spinal development. So we have the C-shaped spine that are developed in the womb, and that's where baby's all tucked in and their spine is a really lovely little C shape. And it is brilliant. It's the position that your baby will naturally go into. Naturally, they'll flex their legs, bring themselves up, and when you kind of put them on your chest, they'll go into that position again. And it's brilliant for keeping their body temperature warm. It's their attempt. It doesn't take up a lot of calories, and it makes them feel nice and secure. So then about 3 months, the first curve starts to form. And the first curve is the neck one. So we have a nice S-shaped spine. And at 3 months, this one starts to develop, and that's as baby starts to lift their head and have a little bit more movement and control over their neck muscles. At 6 months, so 6 to 12 months, the lumbar part of the spine starts to develop, and that's when baby will start crawling, cruising, and even walking. Now, the spine continues to grow with our babies until they are teenagers, but the curve development in those first 0 to 18 months are absolutely vital. So that's why I promote tummy time quite a lot. So also, when it comes to the skeletal development, you've got the pelvic girdle. Now, the pelvic girdle is really good because it's going to help by popping baby into the tummy time position. You're getting them to put pressure and weight and learn how to tilt their pelvis. And what that will help is with crawling, walking and rolling. The next developmental part that it helps with is their muscle development. So with babies in utero, they're floating. I imagine it to be a lot like a swimming pool. And suddenly they're experiencing gravity on all parts of their body. So by popping them in tummy time, they're experiencing trying to lift their arms, their neck muscles, engaging to lift their head, kicking their legs. They're all experiencing the forces of gravity, and just the gravity alone and fighting against it for a little baby will help develop those muscles. In addition, you'll find that as they get older, their hands will start coming in front and they'll start pushing up on those hands. Now, what that position actually helps with is the stability of the shoulders, and it also helps develop something called the palmar curve in your arch, should I say, in your hand, which actually helps you with fine motor skills and writing. So again, something that you're doing with your newborn will actually help them when they start school. Another biggie is the support for the respiratory system. So we have a really large muscle just connected from back to front under the ribs. It's like a big sheet of muscle that actually helps our rib cage expand to allow our lungs to expand, to really get loads of oxygen into our body. And the more oxygen your baby can get into them, the better. It's really good. It's like the lifeblood of us, really. So the more oxygenated blood that you can get around your body, the better you will be. So actually, by popping them into tummy time, you're putting pressure on that rib cage. You're helping it open. You're helping it position itself and grow for optimal breathing. Sensory input is another benefit of tummy time. So there are 2 systems that don't really get mentioned too much. The first is the vestibular system. So I love the vestibular system. It is linked to everything, all of your senses, and I like to think of it as if you walk into a room, your eyes will tell you what's going on in the room because you can see it. Your ears will tell you what's going on in a room because you can hear it. Your vestibular system will tell you if you're standing still, if you're moving, if you're upside down. And it's located in the inner ear, and it's a bit like a spirit level. So as baby moves, there's like a liquid that goes over loads of little hairs in your inner ear, and it acts as a bit of a spirit level. So with baby in this position, lifting their head, moving their head against gravity, they're getting some really great vestibular input. You've also got the proprioceptive system. So that's the system that tells you where your body is in space, and it's body awareness. So if you like, baby has to learn where they end and the world begins. And, you know, tummy time is great for that because they're feeling the gravity on all different parts of their body as they try to move against it. It also helps to pop them in tummy time for eye development, because they're seeing the world in a different perspective. So that while the muscles are developing around the eyes are learning to move together, because actually that's a learned behaviour. It's not something that we're born with. They have to sort of start coordinating together. So it really helps with eye development as well. Now, the benefit of all of these things is that they will help your baby when they start school. Crazy, right? So something that you're doing with your newborn now will actually help them when they head off to primary school. So again, we've spoken about obviously the muscular development for fine motor skills, but suddenly your baby's going to be asked to sit for long periods of the day in a chair in a particular position to help with their writing, for example, or for copying off of the board, and everything that they are doing in their tummy time at birth through the months will actually support that. So a child that has developed a really good core through tummy time and tummy time play will actually be better at sitting for long periods of time in a really good posture. A baby that hasn't spent so much time on their tummy will have poor posture, and what will happen is they may slump forward. You know, they'll start to ache, they'll start to get fidgety. You know how you do when you've been sitting for a long time in front of a computer in the way you know, your staff book has told you not to, and they'll get distracted from what they're trying to learn. Also, they may start sinking their head into their hands, and that actually triggers a response in your body that lowers their alertness, makes them more sleepy, and actually slows down their cognitive input. So anything that they're learning off the board, they're not really going to be taking in. But everything you learn through tummy time is actually supporting their school time. So even down to coordinating your head movement and your eye movement to look up to copy the board at school all comes from tummy time practice too. So it really is a fantastic game, and I like to call it a game. It is a playtime to have with your little one. So when to do it, why to do it, and problems that often occur. So from birth, so from day one, you can practice tummy time from 1 to 5 minutes a day. It's one of those things that you can build up slowly. So I'll come on to babies that don't like tummy time in a second, but I will always say 1 minute of tummy time that's happy is better than 5 minutes of tummy time that's a crying baby that's not enjoying it. So from birth, you're looking at 1 to 5 minutes of tummy time a day, and you can break that up. So it can be really quick, short little holds I'm going to show you, or little cuddles that you can do, just to get them into that position and getting used to fighting against gravity and getting those muscles engaged. Once they hit 3 months, you're trying to get a baby to do 60 to 90 minutes of tummy time a day. And that sounds like a lot, but you can break that down. Now, the trick to get them from 1 minute of tummy time to 60 minutes of tummy time over 3 months is to keep adding every 4 or 5 days, add another minute of tummy time. And that's really useful if your baby's not enjoying tummy time from the off. So from newborn, you want to be doing from 1 to 5, and then you want to increase it a minute a day until you reach 60 to 90 minutes at 12 weeks. Now, if your little one isn't enjoying tummy time, and I hear that a lot, my baby doesn't like it, you've got to think about it. You know, baby is suddenly placed face down, and if they've not got the neck control, they're literally face planting the floor, and they can't see you anymore, and they can't see what's going on, and it must be scary. But what you've got to try to avoid is baby getting into this terrible loop of, I hate tummy time, so I'm going to cry. Mum or dad responds by taking them out of the position of tummy time, and then they don't come back to it for a couple of days, and then they try again and again. They don't like it because they've not got used to it. So you're better off trying some of the little techniques that I'm going to teach you now with your newborn as early as you can, to build up that confidence in tummy time, and they will start to love it. It's their first little bit of independence, really. You know, really getting to sort of, look what I can do. I can push myself up and look at my toys and grab out for my toys. So they will like it eventually. It's just a little bit of perseverance. The same with a baby that has reflux. So refluxy babies can be put in tummy time. In some instances, actually, tummy time is fundamental for getting that core control, because sometimes you'll find with reflux, it actually starts to dissipate once baby can sit upright on their own. So babies that have reflux, you should really try tummy time. Something that I often recommend, and this is a wedge. You don't have to buy this one. This is just one that the NHS use. It's a wedge hog. And if you look, it just gives you a little bit of an angle. So you could practice tummy time in the positions that I'm going to show you with the towel in this. So baby's already elevated, to try to ease any of that feeling of stomach contents coming back up. But yeah, tummy time for reflux babies, is almost a must. You need to be practicing tummy time when your baby is in a quiet alert state. So if you've done baby massage, or you've been to any of the baby massage sessions on here, the quiet alert state, you're looking for 40 minutes after baby's fed, after they've had a nice sleep and they're fully awake. They're engaging with you, there's eye contact, they might be babbling, they're engaging in what's going on in the room, and they're making movements, but they're nice, gentle, happy movements. They're not sort of the jerky, upset movements that normally have. And I'll reiterate, 1 minute of happy tummy time is as important as 5 minutes of unhappy. You know, you'll get so much more out of baby enjoying that 1 minute than trying to elongate it too long and baby getting upset. So with tummy time, little and often is key. So what I'm going to take you through now is a couple of moves that you can do with baby from newborn. So the first one, I can guarantee you're probably already doing. I was in this position quite a lot with my little one, especially after a couple of late nights. So one thing with tummy time, it should always be parent supervised, and even if you are in the room, try not to be distracted. You need to be at least an arm distance away in case anything happens. And at all times, the key is to make sure your baby's airway is clear, so that they're not face planting and suffocating on a blanket that perhaps that you may put down. Or if you decide to try the bed position that I'm going to show you in a little while, that you don't leave baby on the bed, because you can guarantee that will be the first time that they roll. So, you know, always supervised, always be at least arm length away. Don't be distracted, and make sure your baby's airway is clear. So the first one I always teach is, I call it tummy to mummy, but tummy to daddy, tummy to caregiver is absolutely fine. And it's a position that I used to spend a lot of time in, slightly elevated on my sofa with long nights with my daughter. And it literally is, you're going to bring baby down to the floor, just make sure you can see me, and you're going to pop baby on your chest. Okay, so you can pop a blanket around this. You could use this position to practice tummy time really easily, and also skin to skin. So you could get a double whammy in that one. If you do skin to skin, just wrap a blanket around your baby so they are nice and warm, and you can sing to baby, you can chat to baby, and eventually they'll start to lift their head to make eye contact with you. So that's a really lovely one, and you'll probably find that this is one that your newborn is really happy doing, and it's the first step really to tummy time with your newborn. The next one that I'm going to teach you is also suitable for newborn. You may want to grab yourself a pillow and just pop it for a little bit of ease. I haven't had a baby's head fall off yet, but if you ever feel a little bit nervous, just pop yourself a pillow to the side. So you're going to pop your legs out straight. Baby's hands always come forward in tummy time. Now the reason for that is that babies naturally want to protect this area of their body. They feel calmest in this centre line position with their hands, and that's just their nature. So always try to get their hands forward, as they'll find that a little bit more reassuring than having their arms behind them or to the side. So always try to bring the hands out forward if you can. Now what you're going to do with a really small baby, you just want to support the head. So there's no pressure there. You're being mindful of the fontanelle. And with this one, it's really lovely. If you haven't practiced massage with your newborn yet, just to do some loving little strokes from the shoulders down to the bottom, and then even down to the legs. Just a really good way of introducing touch to your baby. Just a quick note on this one, if you are practicing this, just make sure they're fully clothed for this one, as sometimes the stimulation from your touch can be a little bit unsettling, and just having a clothed baby kind of dulls it down a little bit. So that is tummy to lap. Now the next one I'm going to show you is tummy time with a blanket. Now a lot of people do this one, and a lot of people do it in a different way to myself. I've got a little trick to show you. So you need a blanket or a towel, and you're just going to roll it into a sausage like so. Now normally most people just pop that down and pop baby on the top. Now if you're trying to do this with a young baby or a newborn, so we're looking at about 2 to 4 weeks before they're ready for this one, bring that towel round into a horseshoe shape, and I'll tell you for why. We're going to pop baby into our horseshoe shape for their tummy time. You're going to bring the towel or your blanket around the chest and under the arms. So you're bringing those hands forward again, but with these bits, you're then going to pack them down the side of baby. Now, for those of you that did the newborn massage with me, will remember what I said about bringing baby back to a cocooned-like status for calming. So it's almost, they're feeling contained, they're going back to when they were in the womb. They should find this a little bit more settling, especially as this is quite a scary position really for a baby. They suddenly are looking at the floor, and you're not in touch, and they can't see you. Now, a good thing for this position, again, is you can stroke your baby. You might want to put a hand on the bottom just to reassure them. But another thing that I like to do is you can go to any of the supermarkets and buy the little foam mirrors. You could pop that underneath baby, because baby is elevated enough that they're not going to face plant anything you put in front of them. But also I found this on Amazon, and I think it's lovely, especially their eye development. It's a contrast book, and you'll be able to use this in a laying down position, and then as they get a little bit more head control, because it's concertina, you can actually stand it up in front of them. So encouraging them eventually, when they get to that position, they'll be able to sort of push themselves up to develop those shoulder muscles and look at all the pictures in the book. But you can also just lay it flat underneath baby, so they can still enjoy it as young as they are. So that is my top tip for using a blanket. A lot of people just tend to roll it out in front or just pop them on a pillow, but if you actually cocoon them, especially a baby that's not enjoying tummy time, and make sure that your hand is in contact and you're close by, that you're singing to them, talking to them. If you're showing them a book, you're talking to them about the book, they may actually calm down enough to enjoy it for a few moments, and then you can build from there. The next ones that I'm going to teach you are some holds. So you may remember this one. The first one I'm going to teach you is tiger in a tree. So these are really sneaky ways to get tummy time in. So if you've got a baby that's hating tummy time and you're trying everything and you're getting frustrated, give a couple of these holds a go. So the first one, tiger in a tree. You're going to place your baby's hand in the crux of your elbow, like so. And they're going to face away from you. You're going to bring your hand across the body and just rest it on the tummy. So this is actually quite a nice one if your baby's refluxy or suffering from colic as well. This hand comes down here. Don't worry too much about it. You won't pinch anything. The arm won't go dead because it's got a free range of movement. And then the other hand comes through onto the top of your other hand, and then you can just gently roll baby forward. And you can walk around like this, you can bounce them, you can move them, which again is brilliant vestibular system input. So this is a really lovely hold. So this is known as tiger in the tree. Another hold that you could try is placing baby. This is suitable for probably 2 weeks plus. Popping baby onto your forearm, so their body goes the length of your forearm, and then your thumb and first finger just rest on that jaw. There's no pressure there, it's just resting the head, and then you can pat. So this is a lovely one if you've got a mirror in your house that you can then walk baby up to, because as they start to lift their head up and you're literally just supporting their chin, you can start talking to them and singing to them in the mirror, and they can see you and they can see themselves in the mirror. Now, baby doesn't recognise themselves till they're about 8 months. So I think it's another baby, which is really cool at the moment, because obviously we're all in isolation and they've not met any yet. So it's a good way of tricking them into socialisation, I guess. Another really good one is an easy aeroplane. So with this one, again, just be mindful of your own back. So if you feel that you need to lean against a wall or a sofa, that is absolutely fine. You bring your knees up. I have to apologise, I've torn all the ligaments in my legs, so I can't quite put my feet flat to the floor and do the bend in the knee because of my cast. But basically, you place baby over your knees like so, hands forward, okay? And this is about 2 to 4 weeks. You need to take a little bit of judgment on whether they've got any head control at the moment. So the minute baby can start sort of holding their head up for a few moments at a time, this is a lovely one to do. And again, you could do some strokes, you can do some pats. If you've got some scarves or a tea towel, you can dance that across to get some eye coordination going. Or if you've got a chair or perhaps a puff in your lounge, you could pop a book or a mirror or something for them to look at in front of you, or your partner, if you could get a puppet, could do a little puppet show in front of baby to encourage baby to lift their head up. So they will be in this position, and they like this one quite a lot, especially as they get older and they can play. The next one that I want to talk to you about is surface tummy time. So this is really good, for example, if you've had a C-section and you're a little bit sore. You know, I know that getting up and down off the floors is going to be really difficult in those first couple of weeks. But if you need to be a little bit mindful about tummy and positioning and getting comfortable, surface tummy time is really, really good. And all you need is your bed, really. Again, don't leave baby unsupervised, because Sod's Law will say that'll be the first time that baby rolls and they'll roll off the bed. They'll break all those developmental things where we say it doesn't happen till this month, and because that would happen to me. So basically, the whole point of tummy time, and you can use the rolled up horseshoe blanket for that, is you just pop baby on the bed and then you sit on the floor, because you're now in baby's eye line, so they're going to want to look up to look at you. And this is great because you've automatically got a screen to do peekaboo with them, you can sing to them, you can get some puppets and play all the teddy bears and do a little show for them, and they'll start enjoying that one quite early on and keep going. But it's perfect for you because you can move around a little bit and you're not quite so restricted getting up and down off the floor. You know, if you're doing the chest tummy to mummy one, you know, you've got to be very mindful of how you get up and how you get down to the floor, and that just takes it away, especially if you've had a C-section. So there's some of the ideas. We can move on to that. There are lots of different ideas that you can play with your little one as they get a little bit older. For example, if you have still got your birthing ball, there are positions once they sort of hit 3 months. I'm just going to use this because this is all I've got on hand at the moment. My birthing balls are at the unit. So this is, and please imagine this is a birthing ball. Okay, so what you can do is place baby on their tummy. Now, once they've hit 3 months, you can do this. You need to just support them. So just placing the hands underneath the chest and just roll the ball backwards and forwards. So I don't know if you can see that there. Just backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. Obviously, they will have more control, so they'll be looking up at this. Okay. So hands just supporting them under the chest, and again, that's more input for their vestibular system. It's a different movement, it's a different game, it's a little bit more fun, and you can develop it once they've kind of hit 3 months, 4 months even, you can start putting the towel down. And another one that I like to teach my parents is getting a muffin tray and popping really bright coloured toys into the first row and encouraging baby to grasp for them. And then as they get a little bit sturdier and a little bit better at reaching out, move them back a row in the muffin tray. So all the time you're challenging your baby to challenge their own core strength and balance. So I hope that's been helpful for you today. Tummy time is fun. It really is. It's just trying to find different ways to engage your baby and find different ways that they enjoy it. And it really is important, and it's a brilliant thing to do to give them the best start in life. The foundations that they lay in those first couple of curves in the first 12-18 months of life are really important for setting them up for the rest of their life. So, you know, I know it sounds like a lot, 60 to 90 minutes, but if you can just try to do sort of 6-10 minute tummy times here, there and everywhere, you know, and all those different things, you know, if you're talking to your friend on the school run, just pop them into the tiger in the tree hold. You know, it doesn't have to be a long drawn out process. If your baby's really enjoying tummy time and they've got to sort of 15 minutes and they're still on their tummy and they're still happy as Larry, all I'd advise is that you just move them around a bit, just so they get a really varied play diet. Now, there are a few things on the market that you can also use. So I don't know if you've seen the sort of the big rubber sort of rings. They're really good because they're not sort of upright containers. So containers are fine. I'm not going to slate containers. Some of them are for our safety, like car seats and stuff like that. But I would advise trying to really be mindful about when you use them, because they do hold baby in a really unnatural position for their development. You know, so try to do a mix. Really, the tummy time is so important. Try to sort of think about how and when you use bumbos or jumperoos or anything like that. Try to opt for a bit of tummy time rather than perhaps pop them in the jumperoo, especially if they're not yet crawling, because there is not going to be a case of baby's going to disappear out of sight, you know, but they will get so much more from their development of being free to play and experience gravity and moving their limbs in their own way at their own rate than they would if you perhaps pop them in a jumperoo. I really do try to encourage that, but really have some fun. You know, there's some lovely things out there that you could have, play mats that baby can be put down on once they start pushing up and pressing buttons and things. You know, the books are great. Also, you know, you don't need a lot of money either. If you've ever run a marathon, you'll see the foil. So once they get to kind of 4 months, another game that I really love to play with the little ones in my classes is to get the foil blankets. You can get them off eBay. You can get them in the pound shop when they open again. But you can pop that down and then put baby in tummy time position on that. So you've got loads of different sensory input with that. You've got the noise, you've got the texture, and then as they move it, as they manipulate it themselves, they're practicing their fine motor skills, but also that it's catching the light in different ways. So they really, really enjoy anything like that. So I hope you found that useful today. Again, I'm really sorry about the connection issues. I'm not sure quite what's going on with Instagram at the moment. It seems a little bit hit and miss. But if you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact the team, and I'm sure they'll pass it on, or follow me at the Nurture Nook, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you very much for your time.